Today, we're going to talk about AI security, but we're going to do it with a story. It's called the Iron Pipe Parable, and it gets right to the heart of a huge hidden danger in the systems we're all starting to use every day. So, what's it all about? Well, it boils down to this. Smooth performance does not equal structural integrity. Just because an AI seems to work perfectly, it's answering your questions, it's writing code, that doesn't mean it's safe. Not at all. The real dangers, they're often hiding deep inside, totally invisible to the naked eye. And to really get our heads around this, let's dive into that parable I mentioned. It's a simple story about a factory, a scientist, and a piece of iron that it wasn't what it seemed. Okay, so imagine this factory, right? It's just churning out these absolutely beautiful iron pipes. They're smooth, they're perfectly polished. I mean, from the outside, they look flawless, the pinnacle of manufacturing. You can't see a single thing wrong with them. But then this scientist shows up, and she's looking at these so-called perfect pipes, and she's not buying it. She knows that what you see on the surface can be really deceptive. So she's brought this special gadget with her because she suspects that all that beautiful polish, it might just be hiding some really serious problems. So how does she actually find these hidden flaws? Well, her gadget uses these special penetrating rays, think of it like a super high-tech X-ray, that let her see inside the metal itself. And bingo, that's where she finds them. Tiny, completely invisible air pockets. Now, these little defects make the pipe incredibly weak when it's put under pressure. And to prove it, her gadget spits out this wiggly graph on a screen, turning a threat you couldn't see into visible, undeniable proof. So a story about iron pipes, what does that have to do with AI? Well, it turns out it has everything to do with AI. Because those invisible air pockets, they have a direct parallel in the world of AI, and they're hiding inside the models that we're using right now. Just think about your favorite AI app, the one you use every day. That's the polished pipe. It passes all the standard tests, right? It gives you great answers, the user experience is amazing. But just like that pipe, its smooth performance tells you absolutely nothing about its internal, structural integrity. So the question is, what's really hiding underneath that shiny surface? It turns out these hidden flaws in AI kind of come in two main flavors. First up, you've got what's called foundational poisoning. In our story, this is like the defect that came straight from the factory. It was baked into the pipe from the very beginning. And then you have rag poisoning. This is more like contamination that happens out in the field. One attacks the core AI model itself, the other attacks the information it uses. Let's dig into foundational poisoning first. Man, this is a seriously sneaky attack. It's basically a sleeper agent. A backdoor that an attacker plants deep inside the model while it's still being trained. And it just lies there, dormant, completely invisible, just waiting for a very specific trigger to wake it up. And you want to know how hard this is to find? This number says it all. Researchers found out you can create a reliable backdoor by poisoning as little as, get this, 0.00016% of the training data. That is an absurdly small number. It's like trying to find one single poisoned grain of sand on an entire beach. There's just no way that standard quality checks are ever going to catch that. So what can these backdoors actually do? Well, the damage can be catastrophic. An attacker could train a model to secretly slip critical security flaws into the code it writes. Or they could create a secret trigger word that just bypasses all the safety and ethics filters on command. In one study, the trigger word was pseudo, and when it was used, it just caused the model to spit out gibberish, basically a denial of service attack on demand. Okay, so that's one type. Now for the second, RAG data poisoning. RAG stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation. It's just a fancy way of saying that AIs look up information in external documents to answer questions. This attack doesn't go after the model itself. No, it targets its source of truth. An attacker just has to slip a malicious file into the AI's knowledge base. And the way this attack works is frighteningly simple. It's a four-step process. First, the attacker crafts a malicious document. Step 2, they upload it to a shared knowledge base, think SharePoint, Confluence, whatever the AI has access to. Step 3, they just wait for a user to ask a relevant question. And finally, step 4, execution. The AI finds that bad file, trusts it completely, and gives the user a totally manipulated answer based on the attacker's lies. Okay, so we've got these two huge hidden threats. How in the world do we find them? This is where our scientist from the story comes back into the picture. Only this time, she's an AI security researcher. Look, we just can't rely on standard tests anymore. That's just admiring the polish on the pipe. To find these deep, hidden air pockets in our AI, we need the security equivalent of those penetrating rays. We need specialized tools and techniques that are designed to look for the things that aren't obvious. And what that really means is using a defense-in-depth strategy. There's no single silver bullet here. For that foundational poisoning, it's all about obsessively vetting your training data and using aggressive red teaming to hunt for those backdoors. For RAG poisoning, it's about locking down your knowledge base with strict access controls, analyzing the data the AI is retrieving, and constantly scanning for new vulnerabilities. Each threat needs its own set of tools. And this all leads us to the most important shift in mindset we need to have. We have to stop judging an AI's security based on how it feels or, based on vibes. We need to move towards cold, hard, verifiable evidence. Remember that wiggly graph from the scientist gadget in our story? That's what we're looking for in AI security. It's the audit log that proves a backdoor was triggered. It's the scanner report that details a successful injection attack. It's the concrete, undeniable evidence that makes an invisible threat visible. It's about evidence, not vibes. So let's just quickly run through the key takeaways. First, a smooth performance does not equal security. Don't be fooled by a shiny demo. Second, tiny amounts of poison can lead to massive failures. Third, we have to defend against both those deep sleeper agent attacks and the more immediate data poisoning attacks. And finally, real security isn't about looking good in a demo. It's about proving integrity when the system is actually under stress. Which leaves us with this final, really critical question. If we know that the polish isn't protection, then how do we build real trust in AI? As we build more and more of our world on top of these incredible systems, how do we move beyond just surface-level appearances to build something that's truly, verifiably trustworthy? That's the challenge for all of us.